War trophies. During the 2 decades of foreign occupation, Afghanistan witnessed countless atrocities, in which invading forces trampled the very principles of humanity. Among those responsible were soldiers who not only martyred innocent civilians, but also mutilated their bodies, keeping severed body parts as trophies and souvenirs of their crimes. This is one of the darkest chapters in Afghanistan's history, a chapter that remains deeply etched in Afghan nation's collective memory and continues to demand justice. This documentary tells the true story of 3 innocent civilians from Maiwand district, Kandahar province, who were brutally martyred by American occupation forces in separate incidents. Among the countless crimes committed by American forces, these 3 cases stand out because the perpetrators themselves confessed to their actions. The crimes were carried out by a notorious group of American soldiers who referred to themselves as the Killing Team. The 5 soldiers belonged to 1st Platoon, Bravo Company, 2nd Battalion, 5th Stryker Brigade, stationed in Maiwand district. The first crime. January 15, 2010. Maiwand District, Kandahar Province. A 15-year-old boy was working alongside his father in their fields, when 3 American soldiers approached him. They shouted aggressively, ordering him not to move. Confused and unaware of what was happening, the teenager stood frozen in place. He raised his hands and knelt on the ground. An American soldier named Jeremy Morlock took a hand grenade from another soldier, named Gibbs, and threw it toward the boy. As the grenade exploded, the soldiers unleashed a barrage of gunfire, martyring the teenager. Moments later, they committed an even more horrifying act. They stripped the boy's body, lifted his severed head, and posed for trophy photographs. As if that brutality were not enough, they cut off one of his fingers with a pair of scissors, and kept it as a war trophy.
Shahid Fazluddin was my nephew. When he went there, my son and my cousin were also there. They were both young men. The Americans called out to them. I was watching from the rooftop, and there was also a group of American soldiers standing near me. The Americans signaled to them with their hands. 2 people told them, "Don't get up." But they replied, "They are calling us." As soon as they stood up, an American opened fire on them with a machine gun. They fell face down on the ground.
One of the participants in the crime, Andrew Holmes, later confessed to his role in 2011, 1 year after the crime. The second crime. February 22, 2010. The same American savage forces committed another atrocity. They martyred an Afghan civilian named Mirch Agha. After martyring him, they cut off part of his skull and kept it as a war trophy. Before placing his body inside a bag,
He was shot around midday while he was at his own home. After that, the soldiers moved on, and fighting started in the area below. In the afternoon, I was on my way when tanks came toward us. My mother was with me as well. The tanks passed by, and we followed behind them. Around 11 or 12 o'clock that night, we handed him over, for burial or to others. There was fighting here that day, and aircraft were also flying overhead. There were no weapons. No guns or anything else. My son was sitting there with them. On that day, they had gone to the shrine because there was a sick person there, and others had gone as well. I was hungry. They searched me once, and then we returned home. We had just sat down to eat when he was shot from behind.
In their own statements, the soldiers acknowledged that Martyr Mirch Aga had been innocent and admitted responsibility for the crime. The third crime. On May 2, 2010, members of the American Occupation Forces killing team were conducting a patrol when they arrived at the home of Mullah Daydad. One of Mullah Daydad's sons informed his father that American soldiers had arrived. He came to the doorway to meet them. The soldiers, speaking a very little Pashto, ordered him not to move, to raise his hands, and to kneel. He complied without resistance. Moments later, he was martyred. The self-proclaimed human rights defenders first threw a hand grenade at him in front of his children and the women of the household. As soon as it exploded, they opened fire, riddling his body with bullets. Following protests by village elders, another group of occupation forces later visited the village and claimed that Mullah Daydad had behaved aggressively toward the soldiers, and he was martyred by the soldiers. However, Mullah Daydad was unarmed and had shown no resistance or hostile behavior toward the soldiers. The stories of these three civilians from Maiwand district are not merely the accounts of three individual martyrings. They represent the suffering endured by thousands of Afghan civilians throughout the years of occupation. History will never forget such crimes, and the memory of these innocent victims will endure as a lasting testament to the pursuit of truth, justice, and human dignity.